Yes, good morning. Yes, and welcome to another Sunday celebration service at Unity of Santa Barbara. We welcome all of you here and everybody online. And man, we had a big celebration last night, didn't we? Wow. So I'm really glad that you all are here. Happy Father's Day. One thing my dad said to me, he said that he that hoots with the owls at night can't soar with the eagles in the morning. Yes, so I appreciate you all hooting with us last night, and I'm seeing many of you soaring this morning. So, yay, Dad. Love you. So we're here. You know, Unity really wants you to remember that you are an unrepeatable, irreplaceable expression of the divine. And that you living your life not only creates a life that works for you, but a world that works for all. And so we've been starting our celebration with saying, it's a beautiful day in my consciousness. So can we say that together? It's a beautiful day in my consciousness. Yes, I'm feeling that. I'm knowing that for you. So we're starting our service today with a song because Charles Fillmore says singing breaks up crystallized conditions, and I think we'd like to break up some of those. And so the song is called My Soul is Welcome Here, and we're so fortunate here on Father's Day to have a father and daughter team with us. Yes. So we have EJ and Joanna, Lynn Jacobs, and let's all rise as they lead us in Your Soul is Welcome Here and join in.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am letting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. All right. I like seeing those smiles out there. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just what I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just what I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. Getting the message. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Yeah. Fantastic. Oh, we even have more people. See, this is how it works, you know. The soul is welcome here. Everybody shows up. So I just wanted to tell you we have a new platform host today. And, it's wonderful to step into service and say, I am part of this community. And so Michelle Hubbard is our newest member. She's been with Unity 15 years. She served, it was in Honolulu. It was on Oahu, Diamond Head, correct? But so she... Unity Church of Hawaii. So she was there about 9 years or so. And so it's just really a pleasure to have her. And I want to introduce always new platform hosts. And so Michelle, come on up here. Let's give Michelle a hand. I'm so glad you're doing this. Yes, we get to hug now. Oh, all right.
Thank you so much, Heidi.
Oh, I moved. You know what? I moved it. See, she's going to go, oh, yeah, I'm working with Heidi.
Good morning, everyone who's joining us virtually. And
We're all in this together. Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning, and welcome everyone who's joining us virtually, and to everyone who's joining us in person. Welcome to our beautiful sanctuary and into this loving, warm spirit that is Unity of Santa Barbara. We light the candle to symbolize and remember that we are the light. I'll say it first. I am the light of the world. I am the light of the world. You guys are speedy. Thank you. And next, I'm going to sound the chime so that we can remember a vibration of oneness. I'm going to be reading from the Daily Word. The Daily Word has been published by Unity since July of 1924. For those of you who are new, Unity is a path for spiritual living that provides practical teachings, and these help people discover and live their spiritual purpose and potential. Unity encompasses the belief that prayer works, and it strives to help people realize a stronger connection to God every day. If you'd like to learn more about Unity, you can do this at www.unity.org. As you might expect, today's daily word is Father's love. The affirmation is, I give thanks for my Father and all expressions of fatherly love. I'll say it and then you can repeat after me. I give thanks for my Father and all expressions of fatherly love. The Daily Word goes on to say, I treasure my childhood memories of feeling safe when my father or a father figure in my life was nearby. I remember my father's encouragement as I was learning to ride a bike, as we explored the wonders of nature together, as he taught me to use money wisely. Even when I made youthful mistakes, my father's sometimes stern, always wise judgment helped me find the way back to my right path. I give thanks for both the sacred human and the unfolding expression of God within my Father and everyone who has blessed me with fatherly love. Today I pray for my father, for all fathers, and I thank all of them for their growing wisdom, understanding, and willingness to nurture others with a father's encouraging love. From the Bible, John 15:9, as the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Abide in my love. Reflecting on this daily word and Bible verse, I was drawn to thoughts on how my own father expresses love, how I may feel a quality of this as divine love within me, and then use that as I show up in the world. The quality of my Father's love that's most alive for me right now is will, specifically will to live. My dad had a massive heart attack 2 years ago at age 96, and he was left with only 10% heart function. Every day, consciously focusing all of his remaining energy on being alive and feeling happy, my father celebrated his 98th birthday, in April. So, when I'm deep in my own struggle, I use my dad's example of will. And then I call on God within to help me feel its power. And then I persevere as God and my Father's love in action.
a little thing. I want to say a little thing before we sing this next song, since it is Father's Day after all. My dad and I have been singing together for a long time, and he was my first teacher in voice, and I remember watching him at Center of the Heart Church, actually. It was the Lighthouse Church then, but watching him sing and just being blown away by the beauty of his voice and the expression that he brought, the loving expression that he brought to the music. And so I will always take those lessons with me and appreciate them forever. This song, If It's Magic. Thanks, Dad. We're gonna sing If It's Magic by Stevie Wonder, which I wanted to do. I think it's a beautiful song. I'm excited to sing it with my dad. We collaborated on the arrangement, which is always exciting. And
She did the harmonies.
I did most of it. He's good at giving me chances to learn and do things myself, which is great. But the thing that I love about this song is that it doesn't explain exactly what it's talking about. So it leaves it up to us what this magical it is.
If it's magic, then why can't we be everlasting? Like the sun that always shines, like the poet's endless rhyme, like the galaxies in time. If it's pleasing, then why can't it be never leaving? Like the day that never fails, like on seashores there are shells, like the time that always tells. It holds the key to every heart throughout the universe. It fills you up without a bite and quenches every thirst. So if it's special, then with it, why aren't we as careful as making sure we dress in style?
Posing pictures with a smile,
keeping danger from a child. It holds the key to every heart throughout the universe. It fills you up without a bite and quenches every thirst. So if it's magic, why can't we make it everlasting? Like the lifetime of the sun.
it will leave no heart undone.
For there's enough for everyone.
Thank you all so much, right? Look at you got your tears. I'm loving it. It's so sweet. You did a great job, Joanna. Thank you for saying that. Joanna. Thank you, Joanna. Yes, I'm getting it. Thanks. Yeah. So sweet. This is my favorite part of things like holidays like Father's Day, because some of us might have had great relationships with our dads and some might not. But see, what I know about with Unity, because we're all one, like I can get so much energy from you two, right? So thank you. Thanks for being such an example of family love, right? It's really great. It's like, I'll just take EJ as my dad. I'm good, right? But it's really wonderful how we can at Unity recognize that it's not, Father's Day is not just a biological experience or even something that had to be a family. It's really the energy of love. And I've had many wonderful fatherly figures in my life, and I'm very grateful for them. And one of them is our author, our book of the month, which is The Grass is Greener Right Here. And his name is David Alt. I think we're really contemporaries. So when I'm sure if he hears me say that he's a father figure, he'd be like, "Hey, Heidi, come on." But he's going to give our talk today. But I want to tell you a little bit about him. He's an extraordinary human being, and he has been a science of mind minister for many years. But he also has gone on to create schools in Cambodia and India, and has really been a person in the world that has made such big changes, not only talking about them, but really doing them. So I want to tell you a little bit about David Alt. For 30 years, David Alt has been a prophetic voice in the human potential movement as an unwavering crusader for mindfulness, global literacy, and social justice. Whether through teaching, evolutionary coaching, and keynote presentations, David's singular intention has always been, I love this, in bridging our collective forgetfulness into our collective reawakening. Isn't that wonderful? As an award-winning author, leadership coach, and global education advocate, he loves leading through example and abides in the motto that people would rather see a lesson than hear one. And thank you all. See, we're seeing a lesson. So I would like to present David Alt. He will be telling us a little bit about one of the chapters in his book, The Grass is Greener Right Here. It's called Lather, Rinse, Repeat. All right, so here we go, David Alt, and we'll just enjoy this wonderful message. Yes, well, you'll see him.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Reverend Dr. David Alt, and I just want to tell you how wonderful and how honoring it feels to be able to share a Sunday with you. Leading up to this particular connection, I've had the opportunity to be on the radio program with your very own Reverend Heidi, and I have felt such welcoming and such warmth. I'm also incredibly impressed by your community because I don't know of any other that has signed up in the amount that you have signed up in order to come to the Big Sky Retreat in Montana that is happening in the fall. I'm going to be keynoting there, and that's how my communication with Reverend Heidi started. And so I already have a deep affinity for all of you, and it feels so wonderful to be able to not only do this today, but to look forward to seeing you in person. So thank you for all that you do. Thank you for your intentionality. And thank you, Reverend Heidi, for being so welcoming and so accommodating and so warm. So again, what an honor it is to be with you today. And the mutual admiration, I guess, continues to flow because not only that, you're going to be using my book as a book study. And so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about just some brief highlights from the book today and to offer you some perspective and some ways to bring things that are intangible into the tangible, to bring things out of the intellect into an invitation of practical application. So there is a chapter in the book where I talk about a process called lather, rinse, repeat. Lather, rinse, repeat. And I'll never forget the moment that I saw that or read that on a shampoo bottle once, maybe in the shower or something. And I had to laugh at the beautiful correlation of that phrase in terms of our own spiritual work. To lather, rinse, repeat is probably the best trifecta of intentionality and action that we can apply. And what we know about spiritual practice is that we must continue to find ways to bring renewal and repetition in order for it to immerse and become embodied within us. So when I break those words down, lather, rinse, repeat, the lather part is to me very important. Obviously, it's very critical, because to lather in order to create the intention, there's a lot of activity that goes on before you and I create an intention, and most of that has to do with desire. There has to be something within us that is desirous of change. Often in my own life, what I have found is that when change is imminent, there's some pain before that. I often tell my past congregations and my students when I teach that in order to grow, we have to outgrow. And usually what is indicative with outgrowing? It's a pain. It's something has stretched us beyond our conformity. One of the beautiful phrases in New Thought is divine discontent. Have you ever been divinely discontented? You're like, this doesn't work for me anymore. And perhaps what is before us is still shrouded in mystery. But the beautiful thing about divine discontent, or outgrowing that precedes growing, is to be conscious of it and to lean into it, to lean into the mystery of it, and to be open and available. So to lather is sort of this all-encompassing intention of being teachable, of being available, and leaning into the mystery. And so what does that mean? So to lather is to acknowledge where we are. And in fact, in acknowledging where we are, sometimes it's very helpful to acknowledge also where we came from. And to realize that everything that has transpired in our past has brought us to where we are. So I don't want to spend a lot of time, marinating over past grievances and mistakes. I want to look at them from a fresh perspective and say, I honor the entirety of my journey. And do you know who taught me that? My very first spiritual teacher, Louise Hay. I have had the most sweet, precious introduction into this teaching, and it happened decades ago. And I was a singer. I lived in Los Angeles. And a long story, but I ended up, and you'll read a lot of the story in the book, but I became a part of a musical trio that traveled with Louise in the very early days, the beginnings of her work. And so we would be traveling in this van often, and I was still an actor then. And it was in the days before cell phones, and so in order to call, you had to call your agent, and you had to check on your audition process. And so I would be traveling with Louise, and I would ask the van driver to stop a lot because I wanted to check in on the status of auditions. And there was a particular really big audition that I was up for. It was a television show, and it was narrowed down between me and another person. And the other person got the role. And I remember I was on the road with Louise when I found out, and the disappointment was so huge. And I walked back to the traveling van, my head hanging down, and I made some statement about I wish I had been born in different circumstances and this whole acting thing wouldn't be so hard. And it wasn't the first time that I had complained. And Louise had always been rather patient with my complaining. But this one time when I said it, because she could feel the intensity of my disappointment, she she used to have these beautiful manicured nails, and she sort of dug those nails into my knee. And she said, I'm going to tell you one more time. You have to honor the entirety of your journey. You have to honor the entirety of your journey. And that message is still incredibly potent to me today. It fuels me. And so when we are lathering in our discontent, it isn't about wanting to erase something or make it go away or pretending that it's not there, but it's turning to it and honoring it and going, okay, so here I am now. I'm an evolutionary being. Of course, what has been my ceiling will become my floor. And now what is my ceiling of potential will become my floor, and thus and thus and thus, because we're evolutionary beings. So to lather is to be available to all of that, to be fluid to all of that. So lather, and then to rinse is the part where we become willing to shed, dissolve our identities with our mistakes, the loyalty to our narratives. How many of us are walking around with all of these collective woundings, thinking that that's who we are, thinking that the story is who we are, thinking that the narrative that we become accustomed to is who we are. And so to rinse those means that we allow ourselves to continue to dissolve, to let go. Let go is so ambiguous, isn't it? And I know that I sometimes find that invitation annoying. And I thought, how can I say it in a way that's more palatable? So when we're not letting go, what are we doing? We're clinging tightly. We're hanging on. So the rinse thing to me then is to cling lightly. So maybe we can't go all the way into letting an identity or a story go, but maybe we can cling less lightly to the identification of that. Maybe we can cling lightly, not cling less lightly, cling lightly to the narrative, to the ideas of unworthiness and not being good enough. So that as we continue to rinse those, then the repeat part, obviously, is to be in a devotional space. To be in a devotional space means that there is one clear aim. And that one clear aim is really nothing more than understanding and remembering who and what we are. That who and what we are is this divine instrument, this vessel of the divine. And so everything that we're doing in terms of lathering the intention, rinsing, dissolving our identities and repeating those things is a devotional path to return to the fullest nature possible of our God self. And so you'll find that in the book, and it'll be interesting to see how you, when you're doing this book study, can take that trifecta of instruction and make it applicable in your life. And there's another piece in the book that I also want to share, and it has to do with forgiveness. So you can take the lather, rinse, repeat, and you can overlay it on any big spiritual theme. And let me show you how I did it with forgiveness. Forgiveness, once again, a concept. A big concept that is constantly thrown at us. And we are told we should be doing this. But you know how it is with concepts, right? They stay in the intellect, and very rarely do we have the experience of bringing them down into our heart. And so I will share with you that years ago when I left Los Angeles, one of the reasons why I left was I had an elderly mother. I was born and raised in Texas, in the coastal part of Texas, and there was a need to go back and forth to handle a lot of family business. And I used to travel as a guest speaker for New Thought in those days very, very much, and still do to this day sometimes. And I was in that area, and I was going through Alabama, and someone said to me, "Why do you have to live in California?" And I thought for the first time, after 24 years of being in California, well, maybe I don't. Maybe I could relocate, be nearer family, and help take care of these situations. So long story short, I moved to Alabama. And I was in a relationship at the time. And after a little over a year, this relationship sort of came to a pretty volatile ending. And there was some betrayal and some really unprecedented behavior. And there was a distinct rage within me. I say distinct rage because it felt out of control. It felt bigger than any kind of anger that I had ever experienced before. And I had started a spiritual community in Alabama. And I felt out of integrity. How could I show up every Sunday, talk about love and light and all of these spiritual principles, and hold and feel so paralyzed by this rage of betrayal and abandonment? And I did not know what to do. I felt like all of my resources that perhaps I had in California were not available to me in Alabama. But here's the beautiful thing. It's like when you get backed into a corner like that, I don't know what to do or where to go or what resource. There is a beautiful part of surrendering to that, kind of metaphorically throwing up your hands and saying, okay, universe, I'm willing to do something about this, but you have to bring the answer to that to me. And that's exactly what happened. Long story, but one of the most profound wisdom teachers that I knew at that time, one of the leaders, happened to be coming to Alabama. They happened to have a relative that lived in the next little town to where I had located, and there was an arrangement to meet for dinner. They allowed me the space in this meal to tell my tale of woe, to get it all out, to just go full force with that. And when I was done, they looked at me and they asked me one question. And it was, why do you think that happiness doesn't last? I had no idea what they were trying to get at. And so I tried to give a really, new thought, spiritual, good answer. And they went, no. They said, happiness doesn't last because you and I don't have any resistance to it. And I didn't know what they meant. Happiness doesn't last because you and I don't have any resistance to it. And they went on to explain that when something, the genesis, the beginning of a feeling that sparks happiness happens within us, it moves like energy through us to the point where we express it, emote it physically. The emotion of it, the expression of it happens. We laugh, we smile, we giggle, we laugh so hard that soda flies out of our nose or something, because there's no resistance to happiness. We haven't been taught that happiness is bad. And he goes, so it flows out. And it doesn't stay. It kind of goes like an ocean wave. And maybe the next millisecond you continue to laugh until it sort of dissipates like the ocean and it becomes calm again until the next time that happiness arrives. It could happen time after time, moment after moment, second after second, but you don't have any resistance to it. So it flows and it does what it needs to do from the level of physical emotion, and then it's done. It's complete. It's not trapped within the body. It's not trapped energy. It's free-flowing energy. And then he followed it up with this question. So why do you think that anger, your rage, why do you think it lasts? Now I was a little smarter, and I said, because I have resistance to it? And he said, exactly. So how many of us have been taught that anger is bad, or that being spiritual means that you cannot express such a feeling? Because how many of us sometimes struggle with particular boundaries or self-expression because we have a judgment about that particular feeling or emotion? And he said, so I want you to think about that, because just as the happiness flowed through you freely, now the anger wants to flow, but you stop it with your judgment. And he goes, all that it is energy. And I want you now to reflect on how long you've been doing this. When was the first time that someone said that anger is bad, or that you created a judgment about a feeling? Because every time you feel that feeling, it can't emote, it can't express, and so that blocked energy remains where? And I said, I guess in my body. And he said, exactly. He said, what this person did, your rage and the level of your rage isn't really attached to this person. They're yet one more vehicle to welcome you into the realization that all feeling is good. And he goes, it's going to build up. And how many times have you become angry and then it has come out because it's been so built up that it feels as though it's out of proportion to the experience, circumstance, or person that's before you? So kind of like that. And he said, you get to find a way to expel all of this built up energy, because that's all that it is. It's built up energy. And what we know about this built up judgmental energy is that over time it takes a physical toll. And he goes, I welcome you to return to a simple practice that works for you. And we talked about that, and you're going to laugh. And this is also in the book. But what we came up with was screaming. It was really one of the only physical activities that I could kind of map out that would meet my lifestyle. And to scream meant that when I got into my car every day. So I timed my trip from my home in Alabama at that time to the spiritual center that I had started, and it was about a 17-minute drive. And so for 17 minutes in my car, I would scream. And he said, don't scream at the person. Scream as a spiritual practice to unlock and unleash and expel that built up energy. You have to work with it. You have to see it. You have to visualize it. And to correlate this with lather, rinse, repeat, the lathering, the intention is I don't want to feel bad. I don't want to feel out of integrity. I don't want to feel in this state of judgment. I want to do something. The intent was to find a remedy. The rinsing then was to stop identifying with the pain. And the repeat part then was what we're talking about now, the screaming. And so, do you know what? For 3 months, I screamed. I would scream in my car. I asked this person at that dinner, that monumental dinner, I said, how do I know when I'm done? And they said, you'll know. You'll have a sort of sense of resolve. In other words, that all of that energy, that built up feeling and emotion that you have towards this person will start to dissipate. You'll know. And he goes, it's not anything that I can explain, it's a feeling. You'll feel that sense of resolve. And after 3 months of screaming, sometimes I would scream on the way home too, and I would stop in my driveway and I would go, where's my resolve? And maybe there were nights when it was more heightened in terms of the anger. And so I'd keep driving and keep screaming. Some nights I would pull it up home and I go, I'll pick this up tomorrow. But it was a repeat, the lather, rinse, repeat. I kept repeating the process of screaming. I became better at the intentionality of it. It was no longer focused at the person. It was truly focused on relieving my instrument, my physical body, of that stored up energy. I would clean my car. I would sage my car because I was screaming in the container of that car. I became less paranoid about what people who drove beside me were thinking. 3 months. At the end of that 3 months, I had these 2 beautiful golden retrievers, and we would go walking. We lived near an old, funky high school that had this sort of abandoned soccer field behind it. And my habit was to let the dogs off of their leashes, and they would run in the evening in this soccer field and play. And there we were one night. And it was a clear night. And I remember looking up in the sky as the sun had faded and just noticing how beautiful the sky was and the stars that were coming out. I had a thought about how everyone in the universe is looking at the same sky, and then I had a thought about that person. And in that moment, there was this quiet. And I genuinely thought, I hope they're well. I hope whatever it is that they need, that was the catalyst for the behavior, they find. I hope that that need is fulfilled. Do you hear what I'm saying? That rage was gone. And as much as we talk about forgiveness and encourage to do that and create classes around it, all of those things again are conceptual. But in that moment, it was real. In that moment, it had landed in the portal of my heart. And all of that repeating, the lather, the rinse, and the repeating, all of that repeating culminated in the realization of what forgiveness feels like. It was so quiet, so reverent, so amazing. And so I want to throw this in today as well, because it's Father's Day. I will say that many of the people that I have had the honor and privilege to work with, counsel, coach over many, many years, that so many of the things that are withheld within us energetically have to do from adolescence, formative years, parental guidance, teachers, leaders, so many things with regards to birth parents, whether it was mother or father, hold a particular level of energy that sometimes is painful. That sometimes, whether you had a nurturing, loving father or not, that the archetype of those things still hold a lot of unfinished, stagnant energy within us. So you could take this day, you could reflect upon your own upbringing. You can remember what Louise said about honoring the entirety of your journey. And look at anything that you have wished would go away, whether it was parental, based on an archetype or whatever. And you can look at all of that as that energy, and you can find a way to create the intention, the lathering, the rinsing, that really no longer has to have a hold on you. And then a method, if you will, a way in which you can begin to repeat your intention to let it be expelled. It doesn't have to be screaming. It can be whatever it is that works for you. But I want you to know that all of that potentiality is already here. It's within you. I am so excited to be connected to your community in this way through the book, through the upcoming Big Sky Retreat. I hope I get to see many, many, many of you there in person. I hope I get to come and speak to you in Santa Barbara as well. And I give my blessings and gratitude to Reverend Heidi also. Thank you for welcoming me in. Let's all lather, rinse, repeat together. God bless.
Beautiful. Thank you, David. Excellent. That's it. Wonderful, right? So I've got a little, it's not the screaming exercise because none of you were prepared for that today. But if you're willing just to stand up if you want, if not, you can stay seated. But there's a wonderful exercise of just shaking when you're thinking about just letting go of something. So you can just move your arms around if you want to sit. If you want to stand up, it's more effective. You can move around. You can move your head. You can go, just let it go. Yes. That's it. All right, very good. It's amazing. Okay. Thank you. Very good. I appreciate it, That's it. I know. That's right. And we have a big courtyard out there for after the service. Can't wait to see everybody. That's right. Yes. But, again, these really physical activities of letting go. And so we are now going to move into a time of, let's say, rinsing, right? Our meditation is how we rinse our mind and how we rinse that anything that's stuck. And so I invite you to close your eyes, and we close our outer eye, we open our inner eye. And reflect on these beautiful words of David that to grow, we really are outgrowing. We are like a flower that is blossoming, and that's why, shaking the body or screaming just, again, releases the resistance. Because we know the words around connecting with the divine and the pure potentiality of who we are words like, be still and know. It isn't a struggle. It is an awareness. That's why we pay attention just to our breath. I invite you to breathe in for a count of 3. Just 1, 2, 3. And breathe out. 1, 2, 3. That's our process of rinsing, is to become aware of this wonderful body that breathes you. The ease, the non-planning that is breathing. So we can see this as in our rinse time of rinsing, whether it's soap out of your hair or rinsing as you go through a car wash and you get the water after the car gets washed. And the rinsing that is so delightful. And that's what our meditation is. Be still and know. Be still. And into the silence, the word be. So we honor the entirety of our journey. And we know the divine order of all things. So every moment, every person, every experience is like the angel that leans over the flower that says, grow, grow, grow. So we feel so grateful for being in a community that supports us, loves us as we learn to love ourselves, And then we recognize the community is not just here, but it's all over this world, throughout this universe. It's the energy of the love that awakens us. I feel so grateful for this knowledge, these universal truths, and the ability to live this life out large. Thank you, Spirit, for the perfection of my life. I am free. And so it is. Amen. So we take a time now to celebrate our abundance, the flow, the gratitude. They say give where you have received. So it's really the opportunity to look at where you've received. It's the opportunity to say, my gosh, what is it that I love about the Unity of Santa Barbara? What has it been to me? What is it to me? And how is it that I appreciate all that's going on and has been going on for so many years? So we start with an affirmation, and our affirmation is, y'all ready? All right. I am abundance in action. I have plenty to spare and plenty to share. I love that affirmation. It always helps me shift any place of any smallness in me. So, and I know you're asking me, well, Heidi, how do we do this? Well, let me tell you, there's lots of ways that we're going to have our ushers will come in a moment, and you can certainly give in a way of cash or check right here. If you want to give with a credit card, you can go outside. There'll be people with squares out there, and that's the credit card running thing called the Square. The easiest way is to download the Givelify app from the App Store, and you can Givelify is our automated system, so you can give once with Givelify, or you can go on a recurring giving program. Oh yes, Russ, and one of these days I'll bring my phone up here, but it's a really wonderful way that just, again, you can give automatically and recurring, so you don't even have to every week think about this. But mainly, it is to hold the abundance that you are and know that you are a giver, you are a receiver, and it's like the breathing. You just stay in the flow of it all. All right, so we are going to bless the one of many channels of good that is in your life. So let's just put your hands together, and whether you're, just holding your hands together, that energy is really the blessing of you. And so we say together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I share. And EJ and Joanna are going to lead us in God is my source.
All right, let's all sing together.
God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. Oh, I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. This is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all these blessings. Love gives me everything I need. Peace is my source. Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need. Peace gives me everything I need. Peace gives me everything I need. All right, now I'm going to say a little something. I feel really, really blessed to have found that we are all one. And it is a real honor for me to recognize that this one has come into our lives through my wife and I. And I'm so proud of you, Joanna. when we finished that last song, the last thing that Stevie Wonder did was he said, for, what is the word? For it is, there's enough for everyone. But Stevie took a breath between every and one, which made me think. I just realized this. I've been singing this song for years, and I just recognized that there's enough for every one. You are one. You are one. We all are one. And that just touched me. So, thank you. And with this one, we've got friendship.
Yeah.
Here we go. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember that your old pal said, you got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You got troubles, and I got them too. There isn't anything I wouldn't do for you. We stick together like we'll see it through. 'Cause you got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me. Now other folks might be a little smarter than I am, and maybe a little bigger and stronger too.
Maybe, but none of them will ever love you the way I do. Just me and you. And as the years go by, our friendship will never die. You're gonna see it's our destiny. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. All right. Well, some other folks might be a little bit smarter than I am. Well, bigger and stronger too.
Maybe, but none of them will love you as much as I do you.
Me and you. And as the years go by, our friendship will never die. You're gonna see it's our destiny. You got a friend in me. Oh,
You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me.
yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. I tell ya, we need to pay you all as musical instrument people too. That's fantastic. How fun is that? Oh my gosh, you all. Oh, wow. All right. Well, first of all, I want to tell you, welcome you if you're a first-time guest. Do we have any first-time guests? We're so glad you're with us. If you do, yeah, just raise your hand. We actually have a little packet for you. So, yeah, just put your hand up. We've got some, our ushers will bring you a first-time guest packet. And then we have a welcome desk outside, and we'd love you to come out there and and say hello to us, and we have a little gift for you. It's our daily word, and great. And then this lady right here on the third row. Anyway, hi y'all. I'm so glad you're here with us. All right, so I want to again congratulate everybody for the concert last night. It was incredible. I think we have some photos. If you volunteered last night, would you stand up, because we want to give you a huge round of applause. Thank you so much. Woo! And Kathleen's back there. Thank you all. It would not have happened without the volunteers, and you guys were working. I tell you, I really, when I was leaving, everybody's like, oh, anyway, Russ and I were sort of swaying, like, oh gosh, this is really something else. But it was so beautiful, and it was so profound. We had people of all ages and stages, and it was just, I was so proud of us, in that beautiful the beautiful courtyard out there. It was just it was just extraordinary. It was like organically wonderful. So anyway, many, many more to come. It was so much fun. So thank you all for doing that. We had 133 tickets sold. I mean, it was just outstanding. It was so great. So thank you. We also now want to say, we're going to talk about Father's Day. Are there any great-grandfathers in the house? Yeah, yes, yeah, well, I don't know, you never know. We're all just so darn healthy. I bet you your dad's a great-great-grandfather, Michelle, who knows? But anyway, how about great-grandfathers? Any great-grandfathers? All right, any grandfathers? Do y'all mind standing? Is it okay? Can you stand up? Yes, and keep standing. Okay, and how about fathers? No, Bob, we're going to keep these because we have a gift for you, and they got to find you. So y'all keep standing. Now, how about just fathers? And it can be fathers of dogs. It can be fathers of children, fathers of ideas. In fact, basically all men stand up. So we have some chocolate bars. We have chocolate bars for the guys. So all men stand up. Everybody stand up that it's a guy here. Yes, that's right. So we have chocolate bars. Let's give them a hand. They're actually superhero chocolate bars. All right. So there we go. So happy Father's Day, you all. That's right. All right, that's all right, EJ. And these guys, I know, Pat, I know, it's like a workout. All right, so happy Father's Day. I know those superheroes look kind of grim, but, you got the superhero within. Okay, I'll keep on rolling. So we're going to start a new series. It's just a 3-week series on The Grass is Greener right here. We have books for sale, and it's a Wednesday night Zoom class, and I'll be teaching this, so I would love you to be part of it. It's a Zoom class. I think it's $20 a class or $50 for all 3. David Alt, as you can see, is just remarkable wisdom, and we'd love you to be part of the journey with us. Certainly, we're going to be doing this every Sunday morning also. Okie doke. Unity Singers. So mark your calendar, July 2nd, Friday night. The Unity Singers are going to have their first post-restrictions concert, and it's going to be extraordinary. Yes! And so I want to see everybody here. Friday night at 7. They have been rehearsing. It's going to be extraordinary. So it's a love offering, and everything after we cover our costs is going to go to the veterans in our community. The concert is called Let Freedom Sing. Yes, so you guys got to come. It will lift your heart and change your life right away. So come on, we're going to have an ice cream social afterward that's going to honor these Unity Singers and Noreen and all the amazing energy they put into these things. All right, so let us see here. So prayer is a way to go beyond, I'm fighting against life, to feel that sense of oneness. We have a prayer line, an email, a way to call. We also have a box that's in the back, and you can put your prayer requests there, and then they are sent to our prayer team and then are sent to Unity Village and are prayed over for 30 days. So you can watch that transformation happen. If you're lathering, it's a good time to put a prayer in that prayer box, that divine discontent. So something very special. Our flowers today are designed by Barbara Berger, so we want to give her a big hand. And all the little flower arrangements out there are done by Barbara. Thank you so much. And so we have a really celebratory message, but it's kind of bittersweet, rather sad. But Sherry Nagel, who's been with us for 2 years, she is resigning. And she said it was always temporary when she started. But I want to this is a tribute from Allison, our board president. She said, "Thank you, Sherry, for your incredible dedication and hard work for our beautiful Unity Santa Barbara. You were the glue that kept Unity Santa Barbara going during the incredible challenges of the last 2 years. My deepest gratitude to you. Unity Santa Barbara is a wonderful, growing place, and a big part of that is because of you. All the best on your new adventures. Love always, Allison." And we are asking if you all want to donate to Sherry's ongoing adventures. There's a beautiful heart, and there's also 2 books that if you want to write something, we have 2 lovely books. You can write her a little message, so she will get those. We'll give you any of her contact info. She said she's happy for people to call and talk to her. Russ, did you want to come forward? Russ was going to say just a couple words about Sherry, or do you want to, just briefly? Yeah, just because I wasn't here. She started, when I came here, she'd already been here a long time, but she was here during COVID and really just handled the whole thing. So I know Russ has a lot of history. You have a lot of history, don't you, buddy? All right, yes.
Tons of history. And so I actually forgot that I was supposed to get up here and say something this morning. And so, I'm kind of unprepared to walk into what this is and what I'm going to say and what I'm going to do. And I realize that's so perfect for how Sherry handled walking into her new position. For some of you who were here at the time, our wonderful, at that time, our office manager, administrator, had a severe health challenge and had to pretty much quit on the spot. And Sherry, God bless her, stepped in and really had to train herself because this other person, and some of you know who I'm talking about, really wasn't available. She was too ill to be able to train her. So Sherry pretty much trained herself. And what an amazing job she has done over these past few years through all of the crisis period. I'm not going to go into that. But we had a lot of crisis going on, and she just kept doing what she does best, which is to hold the highest watch and do the best job. And she is someone who really can do that. And then through our transition, and then having a brand new minister, I want all of us to celebrate her persistence, her dedication, and her perfectionism. And so I would like for all of us to give her a big round of applause. Thank you on behalf of her. And please be generous we want to provide her with a parting departure financial gift. We do have a way of doing that out there, cash, checks, credit cards, we can do all of it, but be very generous in thanking Sherry for all that she has done for us in her time here with us. So thank you.
Thank you. That's beautiful. All right, thank you. And I will say, Sherry told me she did not want to stand up here and have any kind of a party. She said, I just want to drift off and people remember my spiritualness. And so I know she's probably watching, so hi, Sherry. Anyway, we are so blessed, and she will be with us forevermore. Her spirit, and she'll come back also. But right now, she needs a long vacation. And I will tell you that we've hired someone else that will start after the July 4th weekend. Her name is Portia Fodden, and she came last night and helped us with the extravaganza. So what I wanted to tell you is for the next 2 weeks, the office there's like a skeleton crew. So just to let you know, you can call, and we'll call you back in about 24 hours. hearts, but it really won't be open here. So you just have a good old time at home, and we'll see you on Sundays. So it's all good. It's all good. And so thank you all for being here. Have fun. What a great day. And so we're all going to stand and sing our peace song. Thanks again, EJ. Thanks again for all the volunteers for today, Penny and Spin and Gary. So thank you for you. And Spin, we're glad you're back, my friend. We love you. All right, let's give Spin a big hand. We'll talk about him next week more. All right, here we go.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me, and this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And let's say together our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am that light. The love of God enfolds us. I am that love. The power of God protects us. I am that power. The presence of God watches over us. I am that presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Yes, yes, yes. Happy Father's Day!